Hello, I'm Martin Fencka and welcome to the first episode of another of my Civilization V Vox Populi series. So as usual, because this is the first episode, it will be more like an introduction of the series. We'll go through all the mods we're going to be using and also all the settings. Then I'll show you 3 different starting locations and it will be up to you to decide which of these locations we're going to use for this series. For the first time, we won't be voting in comments. I've decided to use a poll. I'll use the inbuilt poll in YouTube. So when or after I show you the third starting location, there will be a card showing on your screen in the video. When you click on that card, it will show you the poll where you will be able to choose 1, 2, or 3. I've never done this before, so I hope it's gonna work. I tested it, seems that it works just fine. But fingers crossed that everything is gonna work and I'm gonna get the results that I need. Before we get to all of this, there is one more thing. I would like to thank you for all your support and all your donations. It's incredibly helpful. This year there are so many great titles coming out, and without you I definitely wouldn't be able to try all of them. There are already some games that I tried I wouldn't be able to try without you. Just to name one that I'm currently trying to crack, it's The Old World, a great, or so far it seems that it's gonna be a great 4X game. It's from the lead designer of Civ 4. It's currently early access on Epic Game Store. I know that for some of you that's gonna be a problem and maybe even no-go. But yeah, that game looks good. It definitely has some potential. And I hope that in the near future, I will have some time and I'll be able to start recording that game. I'm not sure if it's going to be like a full series, but I definitely want to record at least something like an introduction of the game, short series, or depends on how much time I will have. But well, let's get back to Civilization. Here, where do we start? Let's start with the mods. So what are we using? We are using Vox Populi package and we are also using the 3rd and 4th unique component. Vox Populi, I'm using the version, I think it was 17th of April. I will leave, of course, links in the description for all the mods. So Vox Populi complete package, then it's the 3rd and 4th unique component, same version, I think it's version 59, the same one that we have been using for the previous series, but once again, the link will be in the description. And I'm also using the compiled DLL file with all bug fixes for the 17th of April Vox Populi version. I will actually leave that file in the same file on my Google Drive where the save files are. So in the description there will be a link called initial save files and DLL, probably that's how I'm gonna call it. When you click there, you will get to my Google Drive and there you'll be able to download that file. You can also find it on the Vox Populi forums, but you have to dig through the 17th of April version thread on forum. It's like page 15 or something. So I figured it would be easier if I just leave you the file where it's easily accessible. Did I forget anything? I don't think so. So we can jump into settings. Setup, advanced setup. So if you watch the previous series, you probably know that I talked about Poland. I would like to play Poland, decided to stick with them. I wanted to play Poland for quite some time, but from your comments, there was one that I really liked, and there was a suggestion, it wasn't really a suggestion. Someone just said that it would be nice to see Poland against, I think Attila was mentioned, and Askia against civs that have also unique knight units from the knight line of units. And I just said to myself, why don't we just make this a fight between all civs that have a unique unit in the knight line. And I checked how many there were, and I found 8. So I decided to a standard size map. There's usually 8 civs with the player, so I decided to just add 1 so that we can have everyone, which means we have Poland that we're gonna be playing, and then Askia, Attila, Darius, Genghis Khan, Gustavus Adolphus, Isabella, and Ram all have a unique version of one of the knight line units. Doesn't have to be knight specifically, just one unit in that line, up until they are transformed into tanks. I didn't want to go that far. I just want to have units that are using knights. So mostly it's like knights and lancers, the unique units. Also, some of these civs are here because we are using 3rd and 4th unique component. They wouldn't have these units without this mod, but in the mod they do have unique knight units, so that's why they are here. As for the map, we are using standard map, so I'm going with 16 city-states. Didn't change that. I decided to go with Comunitas. I was thinking what to take, but usually when I tried, or like the less common map type I used in the past, the worst results I had. Usually there were some problems with either stability of the game or the size of the map that was unexpected, and that I couldn't even finish the game sometimes. I remember Rome, where it was a great game, but in the end we are not able to get the victory properly. So we played Comunitas a couple of times before. It worked okay, I would say. So I decided to go with that, just adjust it a little bit. We go with standard size, Deity, epic game pace, ancient era, and now the changes. I actually have a list here so that I don't forget something. I wanted the map to be as flat as possible and as large as possible, so that there are as few obstacles as possible for all the fast moving units, all the mounted units that we'll hopefully have on the map. So 5 billion years should mean that there are less hills and mountains. I think I went temperate, normal rainfall, sea level. I did go low, resources, strategic balance for the first time, because here I want to make sure that everyone has access to horses. Now the last 3, let me check. I went with Terra, then no rifts, and the last one, I think narrow, but I'm not sure if this one matters because we have no rift, so the rift width shouldn't really matter, but just in case it means something, I went with narrow. The advanced options, I didn't really make any changes here compared to our normal settings, so I just disabled starting base because I didn't want some civ to have an advantage because their starting base fits better to the map. So I just went completely random, without event system, no research agreements, no ruins, no tech trading, no tech brokering, quick combat and movement, raging barbarians, and transparent diplomacy. I think these are the standard settings that we are using most of the time, and I wanted to stick to that because there are already some less usual settings, quite a few actually, unusual settings from before here. So I wanted these settings to be as standard as possible. Okay, so now know the advanced setup, and we can check the starting locations now. Also, as we're gonna be loading, we can talk through Polish unique abilities and units. So our unique ability is Solidarity. I guess everyone knows there's nothing super complicated about this one. We are just getting quite a few free social policies throughout the game. First one we get in classical era, and then every other era we get another one, and then we get 2 free tenets when we adopt ideology. So that's one thing, and then where do we start? I think I'm gonna start with our unique units. units, buildings. Ducal stable replaces stable. Unique Polish stable replacement, 100 culture when completed. Provides a free horse, and which, it's gonna be nice, but it's not gonna be as important as it would be if we didn't play with the strategic balance. But still, this is gonna be a lot about how many horses each civ can grab. So 3 horses should actually be pretty important. Then grants 50% production and 50% experience for mounted melee units. Of course, that's going to be huge, especially the 50% production. Increases the military unit supply cap from population by 10%. It could give us 1 or 2 extra units, so sure, why not? Internal trade routes from generate +4 production. Based on the saves that we have, this could be a pretty aggressive game, and by that I mean that just everyone is gonna be fighting, so there may not be any room for external trade routes, which means the extra production from internal trade routes could be pretty important, and we could take an advantage of that. So I will try to remember this one. I know myself, I'm actually pretty good at forgetting like some parts of these unique abilities, so I'll try to keep in mind this one, and I'll try to get as much as possible out of it. And we get extra production and extra gold from basically all the pasture resources. That's that. Then we have Barbican, which is a unique replacement for a castle. Replaces both the armory and the castle. So I think how this is gonna work, we won't be building 2 buildings, we just build 1, and it will give us like bonuses from basically both of them. I'm not sure how this is gonna work with some of the social policies that give bonuses from either armor or castle, but I guess it's gonna work on Barbican in both cases. I guess the game sees Barbican as both, but I will have to confirm this. I'm not 100% sure. It also says it just replaces castle in the tooltip, not in the written description, so I'm not 100% sure how that's gonna work. But once we build Barbican, it gives a huge bonus, that 9 strength and 175 hit points. It's a pretty massive boost considering when the building should come into the game. I will actually have to check unlocked with, where is it? Requires steel. So for the boost it gives, it is pretty significant boost. Okay, then. Requires wall in the city, +1 production for quarries worked by the city. Empire needs reduced by 5% and -1 unhappiness from distress. 25% for all new units trained in the city, so we have already some stacking bonus for experience from our unique buildings. 20% ranged combat strength for city bombardment, 33% ranged combat strength for range units and siege units garrisoned in the city. I guess taking our cities won't be that easy, but it shouldn't matter. Hopefully we'll never get into a situation where our cities would really be threatened. I just want to just stay on the offensive. Okay, so that's our unique buildings. Then we can check our unique units. I think I'll start with this one because actually, Lancer. Yeah, we'll start with this one because it comes into play earlier. I think the pronunciation should be something like Pancierny. It means like an armored one or something along that line. A sturdy mounted skirmisher, only Poland may build it. Earns faith from each enemy killed and double the amount of from barbarians. Okay, but as a heavy skirmisher, I kind of doubt these guys will be killing too many barbarians, especially with the saves that we have on the map. Barbarians most likely won't survive long. The unit is stronger in both defense and offense than the heavy skirmisher and has additional protection against ranged units. I mean, great, but there should be quite a few just mounted units. I'm not sure how relevant the last part is gonna be. Then the last one, a winged hussar. replacement for Lancer, which means it will come into play quite late. Most of the saves that we'll be playing against actually have a unique version of a knight, so they will get their power spike a little bit earlier. So maybe at that point we will have to slow down a little bit and just wait for our power spike. And also, I think there's I think Persia that has a unique version of a spearman. So that's gonna be pretty difficult to go through. So we'll have to see the map. If we get the wrong like placement of the AIs, that we have a Persia next to us and then like two other AIs that get their power spike earlier, they could completely stop our expansion, but we'll see. I think once Winged Hussars come into play, we should be able to expand. Not easily, but it should be easier, let's say. And it's heavy mounted unit specializing in defeating enemy mounted units. That's the important part. This unit is faster and more powerful than a Lancer, which it replaces, forces defenders to retreat when it inflicts more damage than it receives. May only be built by the Polish. I'm actually I'm actually not sure how I like that part when they force the retreat. I think more often than not, I would prefer units staying where they are, but we'll see. Maybe if we get like behind them and attack them, basically force them to, let's say, retreat, or it won't be a retreat, move them closer to our other units. It will be just about how we're gonna use it. They have movement 5, so maybe it's gonna work. But the important part is that they are stronger against mounted units, which should be huge. Okay, so that's Poland. Now we can jump into the game, or rather the first starting location. This one, I think, might be the strongest one. We are starting in between a lake, or rather a large lake, and a sea. So I think I'd start on one of these two tiles so that the city creates a canal, and most likely I would start it here so that we are right next to the sugar and that we can work right away. And then we're gonna have another 3-1 tile, then maybe even the pearls for the extra gold. So this should be a really strong start, and it won't even fall off that fast. There are, I think, enough tiles for horses. So we should have, I would say, like 2 tiles with horses nearby, even though it's not as many land tiles as we will have on the other starting locations. So this could be the location where we have least horses around our capital, and then the question is like how much water there will be around. I'm not sure how the settings for the map that we are using are gonna affect like how much water there is on the map and how it's like shaped. So there could be quite a few of these like weirdly shaped lagoons, but I'm hoping we will just get enough room for all those mounted units to move around, and water won't be an issue. When we look around a little bit more, we can check, well, speaking about water, let's move here, and then we can check here. So there's a desert on the north. It's a huge lake. So you could just have a city here somewhere, and then maybe somewhere here, and just have all of this connected. It looks like, yeah, there is a water here as well. Question is how big is this gonna be, if it's just like a 1-tile lake or if it's even bigger. Well, it's the first location, as I said, because of the very strong like early game. This is overall the strongest starting location. Then we can load number 2. It may actually take a while to load the game because the map should be larger than the usual standard size map, so the game may take a while to load it. I hope it's not going to be too bad though. Nah, it's actually fine. Okay, here we are again starting next to water, but as you can see, it's just a few tiles. Then again, we have a resource that gives us 3-1 tiles right from the start. This time it's first, so a different type of luxury. These need camps. I wanted to have started where we always get a where we get 3 luxuries that require different tech for improvement. So the first one there was pearls and what was the other one? Sugar, so plantation and workboats. Here we have cotton, so plantations again, but that's the secondary one. We have furs that require camp, and in the last one I think we're gonna have gold for mines. Here, potential for more horses, even though there are some forests, so that's limiting that as well a little bit. I think overall this should be more horses and like cattle, bison, that kind of stuff. I'm not sure where I would begin here. Most likely I would just stay here. I definitely want to stay next to the sea. This would give us 3-1 tile right away. We are not that far from this. Production is gonna be an issue here until we get the horses. Of course, as Poland, once we get our ducal stables, the production should just skyrocket with all the bonuses we get there. But until then, this could be a bit of a struggle with production, but I still think it's a decent start. I mean, we have the 3-1 tile, then we get another 3-1 tile. The question is where, or if we have enough furs in the range to get the monopoly will also help a lot. +6 happiness. I actually like that more and more with every series that I play. We could maybe get some fish if we get lucky, and I think there will be just horses and cattle and everything everywhere. So getting husbandry will be a high priority. Yeah, and that way we should be able to fix that production early and just go with that. I don't think that here will be any like real obstacles when it comes to development and production, if we can get the right tags and if the game just gives us what it's supposed to give us with strategic balance. But there is nothing exceptional about this one, so this is like the in the middle between 1 and 3 when it comes to difficulty. I think the last one that I'm gonna show you is the most difficult one. When we check what we have around, we can go, I don't know, here. So there's a desert to the north. There is another tile with furs that's actually out of range. If we wanted that, we could go here. Then we would have all the furs in range. But we wouldn't have a 3-1 tile right next to us. I probably don't want to do that. We can check in the south, I guess here, 1, 2, 3, 4, so that's too far. And we didn't find anything in the south. They'll be super relevant, except that there is what looks like a pretty large sea. So this could just be a peninsula. Okay, that's number 2, and now we can check number 3. As I said, this is most likely going to be the most difficult start, because there isn't that much to work with. You're going to see in a second quite a lot of water, which means it's taking away tiles where we could get extra resources. Then to the south we have tundra mostly, so again, not the greatest tiles, but it's tundra hills, so just for mines it's fine, but we know that we won't be getting anything special, or it looks like we won't be getting anything special in the south, so it just leaves us with tiles here, and that's not too many of them. There still should be some horses, but yeah, if we get 2 horses we would get pretty lucky. There are most likely gonna be some fish, but overall I don't think there'll be that much to work with. Once again, secondary resources require plantation, primary resources, as I already mentioned. We're gonna need mining for that, which could be one thing that's gonna be helpful here, because I think here I would start, oops, wrong tab. Here I think I would start with mining, try to get pyramids, which is an unusual start for me. The production should be probably okay here. Also, this is the only start that doesn't have a 3-1 tile to start with, like 3 food, 1 production. We have 2-1 wheat. then 1, 2, 3. This one is in the range possible if we decide to settle here. I'm not actually sure where exactly I'll start. Maybe we can check, move up. Oh, there's more water. And we can check here. So 1, 2, 3, that's too far. I still want to stay on the coast. And I probably should stay next to the gold, because what we do have here is a lot of money. So we could use the gold to help us get through the early game. But this one, yeah, you can find some ways how to make the start easier, but it's not as reliable as the first two. So I think this one is the most difficult one. Okay. I think that's it. I'm just thinking if there is anything else I could say if I forget something, but I don't think so. You should have all the information to decide. I hope that the poll worked and you were able to already vote. And if there are some like things other than just your decision 1 or 2, 3, if you have some ideas about how we could like start, or if you want to give me reasons why you would like to choose a specific starting location, let me know in comments. I'll definitely be looking forward to all your comments. Also, one thing that I did forget, I will make all these save files available to you when I release the second episode, so it should be in like 24 hours more or less, so that you can play with me if you decide to do so. And yeah, I think now I said everything that I wanted to say, so I hope that you like this episode. I hope that you gonna like this series, so that you're gonna join me next time again. And until then, have a good time. Bye bye.